Ladies and gentlemen, the following presentation is rated R. Rich and real content using strong, suggestive language. Please turn off your phone, close your Facebook, and open your mind. And now, the man who has turned thousands of agents into real estate rock stars. He is known as the Expired Guru, the Tony Robbins of real estate. He is the author of the Success Plus Plan, the Expired Plus, and his latest system, Core Influence. Please welcome your coach, Borino. Thousands of agents into real estate rock stars. He is known as the Expired Guru, the Tony Robbins of real estate. He is the author of the Success Plus Plan, the Expired Plus, and his latest system, Core Influence. Please welcome your coach, Borino.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome. We had fun with that intro. I love playing it. I think it's pretty awesome. Anyway, thank you. Thanks for being here. Welcome to our last session of the 2015. Man, time flies, right? Where has the year gone? Jesus Christ. Okay, it's good to have you. Welcome on the live webcast. You're probably watching this on the Listing University stream. And it's great to have you. Some of you are on the phone. I hope you can hear me and everything is good on the phone. Let me just double check. Okay, looks like we are good. And you can hear me, and we are off and running. Thanks for being here on time. I appreciate you being here on time. I have tons of stuff I want to share with you. I have pages of notes I wanted to go over today because today's session can really set your 2016, maybe just a few first months or even the entire year. If you do this right, it can have a huge impact on your income, on your business, on your bottom line, on your family life, your social life, everything. It impacts everything. That's why I took a break from our vacations, from our winter break, and I want to share this with you, even though Roseanne is gone, everybody's on vacation, but I appreciate over 500 of you came today to learn and to get inspired and to get the step-by-step process, what to do and how to do it. So I'll give you all of that. Rated R, as always, you know, my sessions are always a little spicy, a little grown-up oriented, so that's just who I am. You're going to get the real Borino. We're going to move quickly. For those of you who are here for the first time, welcome. I appreciate you trying something different. That's really the idea that we're going to talk about today is if today you look back at your 2015, and here we are a couple of days from the year being over, if you look back and you have not reached the level of income and production and happiness and joy in life where you wanted to be when you set it up in January, December last year, that's plenty of time and plenty of evidence that something is not working. That's okay. You are where you are. No need to beat yourself up. No need to look for faults or defects in you or in your approach. I think the much better time, much better spent for us here today. We're going to spend about 90 minutes or so, depending on how many questions you have, but about an hour, hour and a half together, is let's set a strategy that works. Let's put in place a system that will get you more leads, better sellers, more commissions, so you not only make money, and that's important. Cash, of course. Without it, life can be struggle, speaking from experience, right? But it's more than just the cash. It's more than just the money. It's to feel good, to feel good about your work, to feel good about doing good service to your clients, to the community, to feel rewarded for it, monetary and otherwise, and recognition, and being appreciated for your work, and to finally validate that the choice you made, whether it's been a few months since you became a real estate agent or a few years, has been a good one that can be a rewarding business. I mean, think about it this way. You already know there's plenty of business around you. That's a given. 5 million transactions in the United States closed this year, according to the National Association of Realtors. We don't have the final numbers, but it's going to be 5 million deals. That's 10 million commissions. Think about that. There is a big volume of homes being sold every day in your neighborhood, around you, in your area, in your office, in your state. I want to share with you today how you can get a big chunk of that. It is within your reach. Otherwise, I wouldn't take a break. I would be spending time with our kids and with my wife. But I feel it's vitally important for you to, number one, buy into the idea that there is business out there and you can get a big chunk of it. That the obstacles that are in the way, and we're going to address 3 biggest ones that get in the way, are just that, obstacles. They can be overcome, they can be blown to smithereens, they can be barreled under, that you can jump over them, get around them. There's always a way to get around it, okay? So that's what I want to give you. I want to give you some practical tips, a little bit of inspiration. I also want to invite you. As a matter of fact, let me show you. We have few more tickets left, and this is really all that's left. I think there are like 9 of them or so. These are the tickets to our workshop. There we go. And we're in focus. How cool. To our workshop, yeah, there are about 9 of them in Las Vegas for 2 days. We're going to spend 2 days building your systems, but I'll talk about it more later. But if you want one, by the way, for those of you who are coming, I look forward to working with you. This is going to be the only live session, live workshop I'm doing next year. So I'm really excited. I'm going to load it with tons of good stuff. We're going to have a good time together. These are on the way. If you have signed up, welcome. I'm excited to have you. You're going to get one of these in the mail. And of course, there'll be some homework about so that we hit the ground running when you come to Vegas in January 21st and 22nd. All right, now, if you want to chat with me, by the way, if you have questions, we have a phone line system set up. The number is 641-715-3605. Simply dial the number, and the code for this conference is 143153. Then you're going to hit pound. And if you want to raise your hand, if you have a specific question that you want to chat about, you're going to hit *6. But before you do that, let me go through my notes. I have about 6 pages of stuff that I wanted to share with you. Let me go through that real quick. And I will talk to you. If you have questions, you want to talk about Vegas, you want to talk about the system that I'm going to show you today that is effective, that's going to work for you. If you have questions about that, you have a specific issue that you want me to help you with, call up. All right? I would love to chat with you. And with that, let's get started. So now, what is the reason why you have not reached your goal in 2015 or you were off? What is the core reason? It's going to come down to one word, and I'm going to talk about the mental side. Yes, this business is a big part of that, big part of your success has to do with your ability to be sharp mentally. That's a given. Let me check my mic. Okay, we're good. Yeah. But in addition to that, the practical side, the business side, what is the real reason? And if you really honestly look back, if you reached your goals, it's because you had enough leads in your pipeline. If you haven't reached your goal, if you're off in 2015 and you want to change it, the number one reason or the number one target you need to meet is leads. Think about it. Your business runs on leads. It's the fuel. You need to have potential sellers and maybe some good qualified motivated buyers to be able to work with somebody. Yes, there are other elements like a good presentation is important and follow-up is important and knowing contracts is important and knowing how to do a good CMA. All that matters. But if you don't have prospects, if you don't have leads, then none of that will produce income. Because if you don't have somebody to present to, if you don't have a property to sell to someone or somebody's property to sell, you're not in business. So the number one reason you have not reached your goals and number one reason you will reach your goals in 2016 is you're going to reset the systems, the funnels that bring you motivated, good, solid leads. Now, maybe you're wondering, maybe you're sitting there right now saying, oh, Borino, that's great. That's like teaching me how to play golf. You got to hit it straight and far. Duh, I already knew that. We're going to spend the rest of today's session going over the system step by step. I'm going to show you a blitz, a marketing blitz that you need to put in place right now. Because about 24 hours ago, a magical window opened. This happens every year. It never fails. I've been at this for over 20 years, first as a real estate agent, then as a coach, consultant, helping people just like you. It's the same every year. There is a window that opens. There are actually 2, and they're overlapping. And we're going to go over in detail in just a moment what they are. But they open for a short period of time. There's a group of smart agents who know it's coming or are prepared. And they will pounce on it. And they will generate a bunch of good leads very, very quickly. So they have a great jump start of 2016, January, February, March, maybe up to April. While the other group, the big group, the lazy group, the complacent group of so-called agents will just wake up from the hibernation and the food coma that we all just went through from Thanksgiving to Christmas and now New Year's. There'll be a big hangover, all right? And then they're going to wake up and they go, shit, what do I do now? And they got to start scrambling, while the other ones have already built up a lot of momentum. So today I want to show you exactly how to build a momentum right now. But there's a warning with that. First of all, number one, I make no promises that this stuff will work for you or produce any results. It'd be foolish for me to do that, and it'd be foolish for you to believe that. You know better. I don't want to insult your intelligence. So there are no guarantees in life or in business or in my teaching. Everything I teach you does require work. This is not a magic answer. This is not one magic ad you put on Facebook and for $5 you're going to generate 50 listings. It doesn't work that way. This requires effort. But what I'm going to show you is low cost, low intensity, meaning you don't have to work 12 hours a day. It doesn't require that. It does require work though, and it requires some intensity, but not that much, and produces results quickly. Because what I want to show you is the HPL, high probability leads. And I'll explain to you why that is so important, where to find them, how to approach them, how to convert them quickly, how to get that chunk of the business flowing through that window we talked about. Now, the reason leads are so important is because here is the connection. Leads lead into appointments. Appointments lead into listings. Good listings lead into commissions. Commissions lead into lifestyle. So what I want to show you, let me switch the cameras real quick, is this. And again, this is just for an example. Your numbers will be very different. But let me show you what I mean. Look at these numbers. Tell me if this makes sense. I want to show you a system where you can generate about 80 leads. Now, this, of course, depends on your market. This depends on your ability. There are other factors. But for the sake of this exercise, so that we have some kind of a baseline, so we can measure the success or failure of it, I want you to start with this. Your numbers, again, will be different, vastly different. But see if this makes sense. Out of the 80 leads that I'm going to show you today, where you can find them and how you can absorb, 20% will convert into listings. So that will be 16 listings. Okay? 80 leads generated, 16 listings. Now let's say your average commission is $8,000. Again, some of you have more, way more, some of you have less. That would generate, if my math is correct, $128,000 in commission. Somebody check me, make sure I'm right. Okay? Is that possible? Out of 80 leads, you convert 20%, wow, 5, that's doable. That's doable, especially when we're dealing with HPL. And I explain to you in just a moment why that is important. High probability leads. Probability to sell the property, probability to list with you, and probability to close, convert. Okay? So if you do 20%, that's 16 listings that would generate $128,000. Now, what would you be willing to do for $120,000? That's not a bad payday, right? That's pretty cool. And this can be attained within the next 4 to 12 weeks. That's the window. Okay? So you have a window of about 4 to 12 weeks to potentially generate this kind of income. Okay? Now, why am I bringing this up? The reason I bring it up is because if your goal is to do one deal a month, you're wasting your time. If your goal is to make less than $100,000 a year, why would you be in this business? That's crazy. You subtract your business expenses, your education, training, coaching like mine. You're coming to Vegas, right? You subtract your MLS dues and gas and all that, you're going to end up with, what, $40,000, $50,000 a year. How do you live on that and run a profitable business? You can get a cushy job like my mailman, just walk around the neighborhood for $60,000, $70,000 for more than that. So set more ambitious goals. This is only if you really want to crank it up. Where you were in the past doesn't matter as much. What's really important is what you're going to go after. And we're not going to spend too much time. I just won't have the time to get into the business planning. We're going to do another session early in January where we'll set up a business plan. Not complicated, not expensive, just intense and profitable. But start there. Set goals that are really worth it. Okay? So, the hard part is this will require work, this will require a different set of beliefs, and this will require some tools. That's your part of the deal. My part of the deal is to inspire you, to walk you, to guide you, and to show you how it works. Because here's the thing. If you're going to work hard, if you're going to spend the time to educate yourself, to prospect daily, to do what it takes to succeed, might as well get paid for it. It's going to be hard one way or another. Is there a way to enjoy it? Of course. This can be a fun business. But let me tell you, hard, being broke is hard. And I know, I lived in a car. Trying to figure out how you're going to pay your bills next month is harder. Telling your spouse that you cannot go on that Caribbean cruise again is harder. Telling your kids that they cannot get the PlayStation 4 because you're on a budget is harder. Telling your kids they cannot go to that college because it's too expensive is much harder. Put things in perspective. Okay? Now, let's talk about the window. The window will open, or it actually opened yesterday. It started yesterday. And we're going to divide into two parts. I'm going to give you the high probability leads. And the reason you want to focus on these are folks that are easier to identify. They are already in the process. You know what sometimes is the hardest part with the sellers? For those of you that work with sellers already on a regular basis, is for them to make a decision. People procrastinate because moving, selling is difficult. It's a challenging decision and it's associated with pain and unpleasantness. I mean, how many sellers do you have that go, woohoo, we're going to be selling a house, can't wait to do that? It doesn't work that way, right? Packing, moving, a lot of stress, fear. It's a difficult process for them. So they procrastinate, they put it off. So the leads I want you to focus on are high probability leads because they already made a decision and they're in the process. So let's talk about the two windows. The first window that opened yesterday, and it's going to spike. As a matter of fact, let me show you how it's going to go on the timeline. And we're going to do it in red. Okay? So here we are, December 28th. Okay? This is where the window opened. This is January 1st. And then this is January 31st. Okay, so that's the timeline. It's going to spike like this. And then it's going to drop off again. This is your opportunity right here between December 28th and January 31st. You do this right in this area, you can load up, you can feed your funnel and just stuff it with tons of good leads. Because there will be a huge spike of expired listings that will hit your MLS. It's already starting here and it's going to spike. This will be the core right here. I have some agents who report 300, 400, even more expireds. I had some students who send me an email and says, holy shit, Borino, what do I do? We have 2,100 expireds in our system. Now, this will be different based on your market size, based on your area, but this spike. And I'll show you in just a moment where you can find them, how to contact them, what to do about it. But first, understand that this is a great window of opportunity to help people rake up listings, rake up leads. Just keep track in your MLS and you're going to see this happens every single year. People set up the contracts that way. A lot of homes are set up that way so that the listing doesn't expire, let's say December 15th, but they let it run all the way to the end of the year. Okay? So this is number one. Similar thing will happen with for sale by owners. Now, they don't expire, obviously, but here's what's happening. Come January, we are programmed to make important decisions based on timelines. And for many sellers, or would-be sellers, to become sellers, it is the new year where they start thinking, well, honey, you know what? I think we should sell. I think it's time to move. I think it's time to find that beautiful house we always wanted down in Florida by the ocean, or Colorado, or California, or whatever. So they start thinking somewhere here about it, and they start taking action here. That, again, is a great opportunity. And you will see spike, and I will show you where to find the FSBOs, how to approach them, all that. But you will notice that the number of listings will start going up, number of for sale by owners will start going up. Same reason as the expired listings. These are high probability leads because they're already in the process. They're already doing it. Mentally, they already want to sell. They already taking the steps moving forward. And you can convert them into listings. Okay? There's a second part to the FSBO window. And those are for sale by owners who were on the market but didn't sell and they took it off. Here's what's happening from a psychological standpoint. This is why it's all important, both expireds and FSBOs. When people make an important, big decision to live somewhere else, just because the house doesn't sell very often, the decision just doesn't go away. Because it took them some time to emotionally get to that point when they're willing to let go their current home and live somewhere else. Once the mind locks in on that goal, just because the property doesn't sell, the circumstance doesn't often change the decision process. It's still there. But for whatever reason, price being number one, usually they overprice the property. In the FSBO case, they don't know how to do it, how to sell it. They take it off the market, but it doesn't mean they still don't want to move. So with the right approach, with the right marketing, with the right dialogues, and with the right process, with the right system, you can rake up a bunch of people who need your help, who are willing to pay for your service if you know how to do it. And that's what we're going to do today. And of course, that's what we're going to do in Vegas as well. I will show you where you can find the old FSBOs as well. If you keep track, go back. Revisit it. This is a good time. January always means new start, new beginning, fresh. Use that to your advantage, okay? So that's the window. That's what I want you to take advantage of. Now, here's the downside to it. We are already on the uprise. That means you don't have much time. You can fuck around too much. You can screw around with making everything perfect. It's not going to be, but it doesn't have to. Because you're going to substitute it with volume. That means even those you're going to lose, and there will be some. Even those you're not going to get, and there will be some. There'll be plenty who you can get. Simply because of the volume. But we're combining two things. And what I'm going to show you today are two things. One is high volume, which is a great opportunity now, both FSBOs and expired, with high impact. Okay? High impact meaning the way you approach these leads. This cannot be just a passive one-time thing, which most agents do, just mail one letter or do one phone call. It's not enough. It needs to be high impact. If you combine these, high volume, lots of leads, with high impact equals high income. Just made that up, it's pretty good, right? Because that's really the secret. You need to have high numbers, 2 or 3 leads, that's not enough, and you need to have a high impact to stand out from your competition, to get their attention, to hook them, and to most importantly, build trust. That's what it's going to come down to. Okay? Does that make sense? So that's the groundwork. That's what we're talking about. That's the opportunity right here. It's big, it's out there, grab it. Let me show you how. All right. Make sure I gave you everything. So now, to make this work, there are 4 core lead funnels. New expireds, old expireds, new FSBOs, old FSBOs. There are a couple more, but given the time, we will not be able to go over all 4, but I will show you the FSBOs and the expireds, which are, in my opinion, the most important ones. So now, let's talk about first, where do you find the expireds? We're going to divide it, expireds first, then FSBOs second. The approach is similar, not the same, but similar. First, where do you find them? New and old expired, start with your MLS. It's free, it's available, it's instant. That's why I like expired so much. It's because you can literally log in and have 15, 20, 30 leads, or in this case, probably more than 100, 200 leads. I don't know your MLS system, but like in my area, there's going to be a boatload of them. You can have them in minutes. It doesn't require hours and hours and hours and hours sifting through data. They're there. Push a button, print them, they're ready to go. If you want to expedite the process, and if you incorporate some research as far as emails and phone numbers, also cross-reference on a do not call registry, or if the property has been relisted, then subscribe to one of the services. We are affiliated with LandVoice, we are affiliated with RedX, and we are also affiliated with Espresso Agent, which is a new service similar to Vulcan 7. It's supposedly pretty good. Now, again, we're just starting with them. We have just a new relationship we just created with them, but if you want to take them for a test drive, any of these, just email me. As a matter of fact, you know what? Let me show you my email. Send me a quick email, and let me know that you'd like to try it, and we'll set you up. We have a pretty good deal. It's not free. There is a small fee, but it's a discounted fee. Give it a try. These services, like RedX, LandVoice, Vulcan 7, and Espresso Agent, will make your research a lot faster. It's a lot more efficient. If you hook up to a dialer, you can just plow through them very, very quickly. Calling them is one of the most important parts, and I'll explain to you why in just a moment. But this is where you find them. Now, the cool thing is if you subscribe to RedX and LandVoice and all the premium services, they will also throw in FSBOs as well. There's a package where they will research and send you FSBO contact information as well. The cool thing about services like Vulcan 7 and Espresso Agent is many times they can get you their email as well. Now, here's the important part. This is one of those, please write this down. Don't take this lightly. This is really important. In order for you to successfully feed the pipeline and convert a whole bunch of these leads, which are really good leads, because you watch, somebody's going to list them. Somebody's going to pick up these listings. Why not you? So here's the thing. To make it work, use all possible channels of communication. Very important. Don't rely on single channel. If you get their email, email them. Fantastic. If you have their cell phone, call them. Excellent. I'll show you in just a moment the dialogue you're going to use. If you have their cell, text them as well. If you have their address and they live at the property, go visit them. You have their mailing address, mail them. Use all channels. And it's important for 3 reasons. Number 1, you never know which one's going to connect. Some you will reach on the phone. Some they will get your mail. Some you will reach in person. Some will read your email. You just don't know, but it's impossible upfront to distinguish which channel is going to work. So you got to use them all. Number one. Number two, it's a differentiating factor. The repetition of it, where they suddenly get your email, say, oh, John Smith, interesting. Oh, John Smith, I got the email from him. I got the mail. This guy's active. This guy is out there working. The more times your name pops up in front of them, the more recognition you're going to get. And the more channels may hit. Now, they may go through their inbox like you and I. You get 100, 150 emails every day, right? Delete, 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 delete. So email may not work. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But if you incorporate all these channels, one will ping them. And then the third reason is the repetition creates a sense of familiarity. Think about it. Big companies, small companies, what do they do when there is a marketing campaign? Do they send just one piece, or do they send a whole bunch, a sequence? You see the same ad on television. You see it in the mail. You see it in the email. It's a cross-promotion. You want to do the same. Because the repetition suddenly creates familiarity. That name looks familiar. That face looks familiar. That's important. And then, of course, strong call to action prompts them to, you know what, let me give this guy a call. He seems to be out there hustling, working. That's the kind of agent I want, not some lazy bum sitting on their ass. Make sense? So, takeaway. Use as many channels of communication as possible. That's number one. And number two, repetition. Repetition. Don't rely on one single call, one single visit. This market is a competitive market. You must repeat, especially if you don't reach them the first time. We'll talk about more about that in just a moment. Okay? Cool? Now, start with a phone call if you can. If you have their phone number, call them first. The main reason you want to call them is so you quickly eliminate those that sold and relisted. And there'll be some. Agents are flaky, systems are not perfect, so you just want to weed those out. Everybody else, no matter what they say, and they will most of the time say, we don't know what we're going to do, we're going to relist with the same agent, those are just blocks. Those are just brushes. They're not even objections. They're just deflection from all the onslaught of salespeople. But anything else other than we have relisted or sold means it's game on. Another important takeaway. If they have not relisted, they're still a potential lead no matter what they tell you. Because if you put yourself in that position where they're getting bombarded by people, they're under attack, they're confused, they hired an agent, they probably don't get much information from that agent, what are you going to do? Suddenly all these people are calling you, they're bombarding you, mailing you stuff, calling you, sending you stuff, emailing you. You're going to set up this protection wall, right? You unplug your phone if you can, put it on mute, block all the people you don't recognize. There are all kinds of people do because they don't trust salespeople. Inherently, our profession, unfortunately, doesn't have the best reputation, so they're protecting themselves. So the idea of the phone call is not necessarily to get an appointment. If you can get a listing appointment, occasionally we'll click with people. Occasionally the conversation will go really well, and that's fantastic. If you can get the listing appointment, I don't want to discourage you, but my point is most of the time it's a big leap, so don't go for it. Just figure out if they're relisted, have a short, brief conversation with them, because here's the secret. The real fastest magic to that word we put there, trust, happens if you can have a conversation with them on the phone, but preferably in person. Why is that important? It's because most agents will not go there in person. You eliminated a lot of your competition. Even if you don't list them right away, they know you, they saw your face, they recognize you. There is a very different communication that happens when you and I meet face to face. That's why I do the workshop in Vegas. That's the real reason I want to meet you in person, because we're going to be able to do things and practice and work on stuff that you cannot do over the phone, in email, or even with mail. Does that make sense? So the idea is to meet these folks, as many as possible, in person. Now we're going to modify the Expired Plus. If you're my client, the Expired Plus, a lot of this will probably make sense to you, but we need to amplify it because the volume of the leads is so big that there's just no way you're going to meet 300 leads over a period of a few days, right? That would be impossible. So we're going to modify the approach. I'm going to break it down for you in just a moment. But understand the steps. So call them if you can, visit them if you can, and you start mailing them. Okay? All right. So here's what we want to do. And I'm going to use an example. Let me wipe this out. Is this making sense, guys? This is a quick way to turn this spike right here into leads. Okay? This is how you can get those 80 leads I was talking about. All right. So, now we're still talking about expireds. I will give you FSBOs in just a moment. Now, so the step one is we're going to divide the group, divide the expireds. Now, here's how we're going to do it. You're going to take 100. Let me get another marker. This one doesn't work very well. Hold on a second. So here's what you're going to do. This is how I would approach it if I were to start all over again. I would take 100 best expireds, best leads. What constitutes a good lead? First of all, I would look at the area. Is this area in demand? Is this area selling? Is it worth my time? Is it fairly close where I don't have to drive 2 hours to get there? So look at things like location, price range, type of property, type of neighborhood. Now, what about the price of the property itself? If it was priced well, that's a bonus. But we already know that most of the expireds expire why? They were overpriced. So the price alone is not that important. Read the comments, read the remarks, find out about the property, and try to determine what do you think caused it to sell. Don't overthink this. Don't let your mind get in the way and get way too analytical. Pick what you think are 100 best leads that will hit the MLS between today and January. What you think would be the best listings, go after those. Now we're going to divide them into two groups. Group A and Group B. How do you determine which group the property will go to? If it's close to your office, if it's drivable, if it's priced relatively well, and if you feel like, if I can get this within a certain price range, I know I can sell this sucker. That's going to be Group A. Everybody else will go into Group B. Preferably 50-50. So 50 leads here, and then 50 leads here, okay? So you're going to start with 100. You divide them into two groups. Make this quickly. Don't overthink it. Again, you know, our mind has a tendency to, oh, I need to have everything perfect, and I need to do this and that. And I will show you in just a moment how to prepare, what to take with you, how to approach them, and all that. You will get as much as we can squeeze in today's hour. So that will be the division. 50 A leads, 50 B leads. You can still convert these. These are not shitty leads. These are just not as hot as these. These, the process will be call, visit with the expired package. Call again, visit again. That's the repetition I was talking about. And then follow up. Okay? So you're going to call them first thing. You're going to visit them, take a little package with you. So Borino, what do I put in a package? How do I put together an expired package? Super simple. You're going to put a cover letter there. You're going to put a simple cover letter. Hey, sorry, the property didn't sell. This could be you. Put a photo there if you can. I know you've been bombarded by a lot of agents. Have them submit some results. I would love to help. Let's talk. If you need a copy, you know where to get it. Many of you are probably my Expired Plus clients, so just use it. In the 4.0, you have the package, so just use the cover letter. If you need it, email me. I'll be happy to set you up, okay? We'll get you the package, the cover letter. And also, so there's a letter, there's a brochure, and I know I'm moving fast, guys, but I want you to get this, and these are important elements of it. They need to get in there. Trifold brochure. Again, if you have the Expired Plus 4.0, just use the little brochure. If you don't have it, the 3.0, the older brochure, we can get you for free in the Word format, get it printed, get it set up. You're gonna get marketing samples. What can it be? Just listed postcard, just sold postcards, open house invitations, property flyers, print out of your website, whatever you feel like would be a good presentation how you do business. It doesn't need to be about that area. It doesn't need to be too specific. It is just something tangible, just something that shows the seller, ooh, this agent, look at that, that's Mary, that's a nice postcard. Our agent didn't do this for our house, shit. You want to impress them a little. And you want to give them something tangible, something to look at, okay? And the last one is a market update. Just a quick snapshot. Why do we include there? Just to show them other homes are selling, other people are listing, people are moving, the market is alive. The fact that it didn't happen for you doesn't mean it cannot happen. So the underlying message there is hope. This does not need to be a huge package to self-promote, to advertise your company, to do any of that. This is just to help you stand out and deliver something more than just a business card. If they're not home, you're going to leave it there. You're going to leave it at the front door so you can follow up with them. Then you call them again, and now you have a point of reference to talk about. You have something to talk about. Did you get that package? You drop it off for you, and you get into a conversation with them. Do visit again. First visit should be as soon as possible. So map these out, maybe 3, maybe 4, maybe 5 a day, whatever it takes, and visit them as soon as possible. Those that you have not reached at home, go back. Best time to go back is late in the evening and weekend. The sooner you can reach them, the better, especially in this window. And if that means you have to talk to your family and talk to your kids, says, look guys, I have about 6 weeks now where I need to cram so that 2016 is an awesome year, but what I need from you is your support and help, because there will be some extra hours I need to put in this. I need to work extra hard, and it's going to take some extra effort. This also means that these packages, have your spouse help you. If you don't have a full-time assistant, don't have a part-time assistant, find some help, because they do require some labor to put these together. You got to get help somewhere, but this needs to be done. I didn't say easy. I said effective. All right? So you're going to visit them again. You're going to give it a try again, especially if it's a good listing, if it's a desirable area. Go back. And then you're going to put them on a follow-up every 5 days for 30 days. Now, what's the magic there? If you contact them 5 days for 30 days, that's 6 contacts, plus the initial package equals 7. So now there are 7 touches. This could be mail, email, phone call, whatever you can incorporate in your follow-up funnel. Now they got they received your name. They see your name 7 times in a short period of time. Good differentiating factor. Okay? All right. So that's the A lead approach. The difference is with the B leads, is you're going to mail 50 packages. Because it'd be physically impossible, probably in most cases, to reach all of them in person. You're going to divide it. These, instead of your visit, will be mailed. You will still call, and you will still follow up. If they don't answer, you put them on a call list. You call. 30 days. That's your window. What do we do after 30 days? Now, first of all, keep an eye on the properties. Many of these will sell and relist, or the other way around, relist and sell. You don't want to market to those. So every few days, just check your database, which also should be a wake-up call for you. Because somebody got that listing, somebody sold it. It could have been you. Make sense? All right. So call, visit, follow up for 30 days minimum. Here, if they have not relisted, you're going to ease off. Doesn't need to be every 5 days, but I would keep in touch. Here's why. Yes, tell me I'm not the only one this happened to. I would have a seller. Sometimes I would even have a conversation with them, and they say, no, we're not moving. We're not going anywhere. And then 2 months later, 30 days later, 90 days later, boom, for sale sign with another agent. They told me they're not moving. There's a sign. What happened? It goes back to what we talked about earlier. The idea often doesn't go away. The fact that they're shielding, the fact that they're brushing you off, doesn't mean they don't want to move. What is the real issue there? Trust. That's really the real issue. And the reason you're going to get objections is not because they don't want to move. Many of them do. The real issue is trust. The only thing you want to distinguish when you start this is sellers who have zero benefit in moving, who simply don't have to move, who simply don't have enough motivation, core driving emotion to live somewhere else. There's not enough pain and enough pleasure to sell the house and move. Those are the only ones you're going to weed out. But be careful, because they will often tell you, we don't need to sell, we're going to stay, we don't know what we're going to do, we're probably released with the same agent. You know what often the issue there is? Not that they don't want to move, not that they're not motivated, is they don't trust you. See, what they're really saying is we do want to sell, just not with you, because we don't know you. We don't trust you. We don't know if we can even tell you the truth, because many salespeople are hitting on us now, are bashing us. You know what I mean? So you got to be careful. Through good communication, through the proper dialogues, and I'll give you some samples in just a moment, how you can decipher what is really going on and start building that connection and trust. Sometimes it doesn't take that long. You can convert some people within 1 or 2 brief conversations, encounters. They're ready. They have enough trust and enough desire to live somewhere else. Now, those that don't, where you're absolutely clear these people are not motivated or pain in the ass, they're not nice, I don't want to work with these people, you're going to drop those out. Okay? That's the approach with the expireds. You're going to blitz them. Critical part here is put the package together as soon as possible. Stay late if you have to. Do whatever it takes to get these suckers together and get out there. This alone is a nice differentiating factor. A nice something different, something tangible, something most agents don't have. This alone will help them see that you are different, they will remember, they will recognize you. You start establishing trust so they can do business with you. Okay? So you're going to put letter, brochure, marketing samples, market update. Let's get those suckers going. Here, you want to mail them. Same thing. You're going to mail it out, call, and then put them on a follow-up. All right. So that's the blitz for the expireds. Get this ready now. Don't procrastinate this. Even if they have to work on New Year's Eve, even if they work on New Year's Day, get ready. Because when the window is open, the leads are out there for grabs, somebody's going to get them. Why not you? Make sense? All right, good. Now, if you have any questions, I'm going to post a number. We can talk in just a moment, but let me just go over everything. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, one more thing I wanted to mention there. Some sellers will be impressed that you're active, that you're working. They will appreciate it, especially with the right approach where you're not a salesy, aggressive closer. You're just a cool advisor, salesperson who is there to help. They will appreciate that. If they are ready for an appointment, go for it. Some will be. Some will have high urgency. Some sellers feel like we just need the right agent to get this done. Why not you? You can be that agent. I believe you are. So go for the appointment, okay? All right. So now, all this, the mail, the package, the supporting systems are important, and sometimes they're the only channel you have to communicate with them. But if at all possible, have a conversation with them. Talk to them. That's where the real magic happens. It's in the conversation. So here's what I want you to do. Set up a goal right here. Not how many contacts, how many you're going to mail. Here, of course, we're going to mail. But here, you set up a goal how many conversations daily, weekly, and month. Now, I would recommend to do daily minimum 2. So you actually talk to, preferably in person, 2 expired listings. The more the better. If you can do 4, fantastic. If you can do 5, even better. Set that goal. So it's not about how many dials you make. It's not about how many packages you drop off. They're just part of the process. But the way you're going to measure whether you're on track or off track, the way you're going to know that the funnel is being fed by good leads is how many people you get to actually talk to. It should be no less than 2. And if you work 6 days a week, no less than 12 a week. And if you work 24 days, so that's 48 minimum. That's your 50. Okay? 2 a day minimum. Minimum. So you need to figure out how many dials do I need to make? How many people do I need to visit? What are the best windows, best time for me to go see these folks so I have these conversations? Because that's where the magic is. That's where the conversion happens. It's right here in the conversations where you can ask them questions, they can ask you questions. We're not just some kind of a salesperson just blasting emails or sending junk mail. You're a human being who genuinely wants to help them. Yes, you want to get paid, of course. You're a professional, that's how you get paid. That's how your doctor gets paid. You don't expect for them to operate on you for free. That's how your accountant gets paid when they do your taxes. You pay these per phone, that's how you get paid. No reason to apologize or hide it. But the underlying drive is to be helpful, to be cool. And people appreciate that. It resonates with people. It's a different approach. It's different from many other coaches will teach you. They will have you memorize some kind of silly script. I'm not a big fan of that. I think it's still a people business. I think real estate is still one human being helping another human being. You can do this in high volume. You can make a lot of money. I have students making over $1 million a year doing that. But the drive is still the same, to be cool, to be helpful. You know what I mean? That's the difference. Okay? So focus on conversations. How many conversations do you need to have to reach your goals? This will vary, of course, based on your ambition, your organization, and your discipline. And we'll talk about what will get in the way. Remember, I promised you that. But let's go over the system first. Does this make sense? So you're going to set a goal. You say, okay, I need to have 2 conversations 6 times a week to start the conversion process. Okay? So make sure that's your goal. All right. I mean, think about it. Where would you be if you had 2 conversations a day? If you can continuously talk to 2 expireds every day. Is it possible? Right now it will be possible. There will be plenty of them out there in most markets, in most parts of this country. Orange and spice, that's one of my favorite teas. All right, so now we know where to find the leads. We know they're going to be out there. They're already starting to pop up. We know the sequence. We went through the process. What do you say? I'm going to give you some conversation points to incorporate in your language. Here's the first one. This is not the opener. You're going to start with the traditional opener, probably not the first one. Kind of crazy, right? All these agents calling. And then you say, you know, Susan, I know it's a little disappointing, but it's just not fair that you guys should put your dreams on hold just because an agent didn't get the job done, just because the property didn't sell. Notice that 18 similar homes sold in the last 2 months in the neighborhood. Quite similar to yours. Same price range, similar size. It's kind of peculiar that yours didn't. So what am I doing there? First, I'm diminishing their emotional resistance towards the fact that the property didn't sell. Because they start here, they're angry, they're frustrated, they're disappointed, they pissed off at the other agents. And I'm diminishing, I'm bringing it down to slightly disappointed. I know it's a little bit disappointing. Your house didn't sell. But you guys shouldn't put your dreams on hold. That's not fair to you. Strong language, aligning language. They had a dream, they had a goal. Everybody does. For whatever reason they're moving, there's a dream, there's a goal, there's an end point that they have in mind. And I don't think it's fair. Especially if 18 other homes sold in the last 2 months. Why am I incorporating that there? I'm doing 2 things. Rekindling the hope, but also establishing my expertise. I don't have to sell myself now as an expert. In that language that I quote a specific number of homes sold, I'm hooking them with curiosity where they have to go in their mind, well, shit, yeah, why hasn't our home sold? It's a nice house. But I'm also presenting data where I'm establishing I'm an expert. I understand our market really well. I know it well, which is one of the core qualities that the sellers want, okay? And then the second part to that is hope. This can be done. Just like people are the same. We are all driven by same emotions. You're here watching this, whether it's the live broadcast that we're on right now or later if you watch this on a replay, because you have a sense of hope. I want you to have that sense of hope, genuine hope that you can do all this, that it's doable. Other agents are doing it all day long and it's working, that you can make money, you can be successful, you can reach the goals that matter to you and your family and people that depend on you. Your clients. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. So you want to communicate it to them as well. That you're not just commission hungry and desperate for a listing. You want to help and you're convinced you can do this. Okay? Now, often you will get the deflection, you will get the brush. We don't know what we're going to do, we're going to wait and blah, 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 blah. It's a defense mechanism. It's just like the just looking when you walk into the store. We all do that. It's all the same. So you sell. Well, let me ask you this, and I totally understand. Waiting a little bit kind of makes sense. A lot of people feel that way, but If you could put more cash in your pocket and there was a good chance that you could not only sell it for more but sell it faster, would you at least consider it? And then shut up and listen. What you're looking for is not just the words, but their reaction to it. Because, and again, this varies slightly from market to market, but think about it. Isn't spring a busy time where a lot of people put homes on the market? Doesn't it get a little crowded? Wouldn't many sellers be better off just to put it on now, market it well, clean it up, price it well, and get it over with? Doesn't it cost them every month in expenses, maintenance, sometimes mortgage payment, insurance, and all that? Think about it. Wouldn't many sellers be better off selling now? I think so. The procrastination seldom buys them anything. Definitely not a better sales price unless the market is really heating up and accelerating. That doesn't seem to be the case in most parts of the country. So ask them. Ask them a second question. If you could get a good price and sell within the next, let's say, 60 days, where the bottom line would make sense, would you consider it? Would you still be happy somewhere else? Great question to ask. See, you might be better off getting ahead of the very competitive spring market that we always have. You know, come March, April, May, people are crazy. Everybody and their mother puts the house on the market. I mean, you notice the signs. So this might be a better way. I don't know, but let's figure it out. Because if it could bring you a little more money and if it could be an easier process, if it's done right, what do you say? Okay? They will say, we want to wait. Take that apart. I mean, really think about it. Do people like to wait? Who likes to wait? Who likes to stand in line and wait? That's why we have express lines. That's why we have fast checkout. That's why we have all these things. People don't want to wait. If you can have something today, now, or you can have the same thing 3 months from now, 6 months from now, won't you take it now? It makes no sense. Yes, there are special, unique circumstances where waiting really is a part of the conditions that you can't do anything about. But very often, especially with the sellers, that's usually not the case. They don't want to wait. They just don't know any better. They don't know how to get rid of all these salespeople. They don't know what the hell to do. They don't know who to trust. So the issue there is not motivation, and it is not planning, and it is nothing else but trust. People don't really want to wait. So don't buy it on a fast value. Dig deeper, and what you need to focus on is connection, is trust. Does it make sense? Yeah, people don't want to wait. They hate to wait. If they can get it now, they would take it now. The real issue is trust. That's what you need to focus on. Okay. That's the expired part. Go out there, talk to these people. Don't expect to be perfect. Good enough. Talk to a lot of people. Take massive action. Remember what we talked about. High impact with high volume. That's the combination. And I'll give you some tips how to get better at this to make it high impact. Part of it is the package. We talked about it. The second part will be your communication. Because at the end, think about it this. People list with you because of you. There are tools that help. Having a nice Facebook page, having a business card, having a package, having a brochure, all that helps. Those are tools. But at the end, none of this causes them to list with you. They list with you because of you. Because they like you. Because they trust you. Because they believe you can genuinely help them. That you're honest, that you're hardworking, that you will get the job done for them. That's why they list with you. So if you communicate that well, without selling yourself, being salesy or needy, low status, you're going to get a lot of clients. Don't you think? Okay. Now, let's talk about the for sale by owners quickly. Similar approach with one big differentiating factor, and that is your general approach. I mean, the process is the same. You contact them, but your initial contact is all about just one thing. To find out, and you can ask them this on the phone or in the email, would you work with an agent if I can bring you a qualified buyer? That's all you want to know. Majority of for sale by owner, especially if they've been on the market for a while, or if they were old for sale by owner we talked about and you want to bring them back, would consider it. Why not? At that point, they already know this is tough to do it on our own. They will be open to the idea. That's your foot in the door. That's the opening. You're not guaranteed you have a buyer. If you do have somebody who may be interested, that's fantastic, but it's a bonus. But you're not telling them, I have a buyer. You say, would you would you be willing to work with an agent? That's the only question you're posing. Then the second follow-up to that is, let me just stop by, take a 5-minute tour, give me a quick tour of the house, and we'll talk. I need to see the property first. I want to shake hands. I want to say hello, so you can put a face to this crazy accent to my name. And just go there. Same process is the visit. Why is the visit so important? Just like with the expired, that's the easiest way to build trust, which is what you want. Okay? Same thing. Now, you can bring a little expired package, but unlike a little for sale by owner package, but unlike with the expired, the FSBO package is something that would help them. Something that is of value, something that doesn't promote you, doesn't talk about you, something that would validate that going for sale by owner makes sense, at least at that point for them, and here's a tool that can help you. Even something as simple as where to advertise a for sale by owner. What are some of the good websites like Craigslist and YouTube? And you can put a list together. Or how to put together a good flyer for the property. They don't know the most rudimentary things. Things that you and I would consider like flyer, of course, no brainer. Shit, of course I can do it. To someone who's never done it before, to somebody who doesn't know what to do, to somebody who has a full-time job in most cases, it's a big undertaking. So help them with something. Bring something that will benefit them, that would help them. And be honest with them. I don't know if I have a buyer. Let me take a quick look. Let's talk. Let's look around. And the buyer leads I do have, I will inform about your property immediately. And then what do you want to do? Do you want me to bring them by, or would you rather if they just contact you directly? Be very open, be very cool about it. Then the magic will happen. Initial conversation. Part 2, follow-up. Keep in touch with the FSBO every 7 to 10 days. Just like with the expired, you gotta use the repetition. You gotta be in touch continuously. Okay? All right. The overall approach to FSBO is I'm a helpful advisor. If you have any questions other than legal questions and pricing questions, I can tell you what the neighborhood is going for. I will not quote you any price as far as your house. That's a service that's reserved only for my clients. But other than that, I'm here to help. I will help you market it if you want to. I will show you where to get buyers for it, what to do if somebody is interested. All that is available to you. Maybe we'll decide to work together down the road. Who knows? But I'm here to help. I will get paid one way or another. I'm not too worried about it. Okay. So you have some work to do. The preparation that will, for all of this to work, the window that's now open for you to take advantage of. Put the expired packages together. Don't overthink it. Don't overanalyze. Make it quick. Timing is more important than for it to look beautiful or perfect. Because by the time it's beautiful and perfect, other agents will be taking listings from your nose left and right. Don't let that happen to you. So don't allow perfection to kill your income, your business, and your chances of success. Practice dialogues daily. It is one of those core abilities, is your ability to talk to a stranger on the phone or in person, make them feel comfortable and develop trust quickly, to ask the right questions the right way. This requires a level of skill that many people don't have. Many agents don't have. And they're wondering why the hell they're going broke. It's because people don't trust them, because they come across either way too high, too aggressive, too strong, which they may or may not be that. They may be just passionate, but it's the perception that counts. Or they come too needy, too low, desperate for a listing. Whether they verbally say that or they just send that vibe, you know people like that, right? They don't need to say much, and yet you pick up immediately their vibe, how they feel and what they think and what they want. Salespeople or even non-salespeople. Maybe you're one of them once in a while. Maybe you lost some listings because of that. Is that possible? You got to fix that. Quick way to fix it is practice this daily. Find a partner if possible. Role play this. Role play. And watch how within a few days you're going to get better. You must. That's how I got better. I don't have any super magic powers or special skills. I practiced this. Okay? So now, you know what will get in the way? What will get in the way, the barrier that will stop from all this to work for you, is not the market, it's not the economy, it's not the force out there. It's you. Just like I was in my way. And one of the core things that were holding me back for a long time, much longer than I'm willing to admit here, is the beliefs I was carrying around. Doubt, fear. A lot of insecurities and issues around money and success. This game, the game of real estate, and the people who made it, and people who struggle, and I've been on both ends, the biggest differentiating factor is not their age, not the years in business, not their business background, skill, or education, or even motivation. We're motivated plenty. You're motivated. That's why you're here. You have the desire to succeed. But it's the beliefs, their focus, and their expectations, the mind. And we won't have time to turn this into a great Tony Robbins session, although I'd love to, and maybe we'll do one in the future where we'll focus on that alone. And I'm not here to preach about setting goals and visualizing and any of that stuff. You've heard me talk about it many times before as well. And you're using some of these tools already. But know this, the fact that you're not consistently taking the steps towards the lifestyle you've built, to lifestyle you've dreamed, the lifestyle you've desired. Here's the number one reason right up here. The doubt. And you doubt one of two things. Be a little psychic now. What was his name? Johnny Carson, the character? Can't think of it. But let me be a little psychic now. You either doubt this business is for you, you have what it takes to succeed, you doubt yourself, or you doubt sometimes myself, sometimes my system, or somebody else's. And it's precisely this doubt, this uncertainty, that's draining your energy, that's draining your focus, that's draining your passion and your conviction that you can pull it off. So be honest with yourself, do a little soul searching, identify what are some of the beliefs that are holding you back. Mine for a long time was money's hard to come by. That was for many years the anchor that I kept dragging behind me, where I had to justify and validate every commission I earned by tons of hard work and struggle. You don't need to do the same. Yes, it requires work, what I showed you, and you can't do that in 5 minutes sitting at your computer. But it can be done. And the big paycheck, the big money that's on the line is definitely worth it if you ask me. Because with money comes a lot of freedom. It won't buy you everything, but it buys you a whole lot. And most importantly, it will get rid of the problems you have when there is not enough money. So do that before you embark on this journey. Spend a little time soul searching. Really dig deeper and find out which beliefs, which expectations, which thoughts that you think repeatedly, which that's belief really all that is, need to be replaced. Because it's going to be an uphill battle with the wrong set of beliefs. I wonder if this is going to work, and I don't know if this business is for me, and many other agents are struggling. Yeah, that's true. Some are, but there are also some who make a lot of money. I received an email and a post from one of my students up in Canada, Jazz. Maybe you're watching, Jazz. Congratulations, by the way. Awesome month. 18 closings in December, where things are supposed to be slow. Now, this is not usual. I don't know what usual is, but I can tell you one thing. 18 closings is pretty damn good. And I want to teach you in January some of the systems to get you to that level as well. That's my hope for you, is to take 50 listings in 2016. And I believe it's totally doable. It will require systems, it will require support, different thinking, some money, not a whole lot compared to other businesses. But you can do that. Now, how would your quality of your life change? Where could you be? Mentally, financially? What's your life be like with 50 listings? You could take one a week, where you have the predictable system in place. Absolutely reachable. But the mindset needs to go. The second thing is your systems. You need to have this organized. This needs to be organized. That means it will require a contact management system. It will require some support. You can't do this on your own. Don't kid yourself. You're going to need some help, whether it's just a little bit of a part-time help, maybe some family member can help you, a friend, whoever. Ask around, reach out. Somebody's got to help you with this. Because if you're going to try to do this on your own, it's a big undertaking. And I'm not just talking about this, the window of leads. I'm talking this business in general. It's hard to do this on your own. And it's also expensive. Because if you don't have an assistant, you are one. You're getting paid as one. So find some help. It doesn't need to be a full-time college graduate. Just somebody who can alleviate some of the redundant administrative work that would normally bog you down, like preparing the package and doing all that stuff. Okay? And the third thing that will get in the way is lack of persistence. You may start a little, then you take a break. Then you do it a little bit, and then the day gets derailed. Then there's an emergency, and then you get back on track. It's this up and down. There's no consistent, predictable, repetitive approach to this. Or when things get a little tough, somebody chews your ass, or it gets uncomfortable, or rejection. Of course there will be rejection. But anytime there is an opportunity to make a lot of money, and believe me, if you don't see the opportunity here, that'd be crazy. This is a great opportunity to make a lot of money. But every time there is a chance for high income, there'll be some discomfort one way or another. Whether it's physical labor or mentally, or you have to put up with human emotions, something. There's no free lunch. So be ready that you need to put up with some level of discomfort, dealing with people's emotions and being rejected. We all get rejected every day, you and I, it's just part of life. No need to beat yourself up, or no need to make it any bigger than it is. It is what it is. Move on. Do this in spite of how you feel. If you don't feel good about it, my suggestion would be just change how you feel. That really is the easiest way to do this. But it's the lack of persistence, the systematic approach where you do this day in, day out, where it needs to be done daily. And needs to be the highest highest priority, because we talked about it at the beginning. Without leads, you don't have a business. This needs to be the most important thing. This drives your business. This drives your income. This is the easiest way to do that, because you're dealing with people who are in the process, ready to do something, and many of them will. And I had an agent, sweetheart agent, good, honest person, but with screwed up approach where she kept track of all the expireds and how they kept relisting. She had a spreadsheet for this. I saw the spreadsheet. I'm like, why would you do that? What's the benefit here? Well, I just want to know. Know what? That you're losing thousands of dollars left and right? Go talk to these people, approach these people, contact these people. It's a fear-based behavior, fear of discomfort and rejection and being out there, that prevented her, and she created this construct approach that made no sense to me. So don't fall into the same trap. Get out there, do it. Do it now. Start right now. And I challenge you, we're going to finish in just a little while. The moment we finish, ask yourself, what can I do right now? Even if I don't have the package, can I go out there and talk to some people? Can I send some emails? Can I make some phone calls? Can I get some leads? Can I find somebody who needs my help? They're out there. Because this is another one of those new beliefs that I want you to adapt. There are people out there right now in your town, in your neighborhood, in your city, who will be or are already looking for a good, honest, hardworking agent who can help them. They're there right now, not one, not two, whole bunch. And if you look back at this video a year from now, you can track them. You can see that I was right. You know I'm right. They're out there. Your job is to find them. Your job is to connect with them. Your job is to communicate with them, build trust with them so you can help them and so you get paid. Does that make sense? All right. So the takeaway is do what it takes, not just what's comfortable. Build a simple plan. Put this on your calendar. Make a simple plan. Make this the number one priority. This needs to be done no matter what. Come up with a simple plan. Lack of planning can really derail you very, very quickly, especially if you have some deals going, you have some listings going. Those usually take priority. Prospecting goes sideways. And then come January, you're sitting there with empty hands. No bueno. So come up with a simple plan. Incorporate this in your day. It can totally all be done. If there is a breakdown, identify it, fix it quickly. But remember, your number one job is to get leads. That's your number one job. Your income depends on it. Your life depends on it. Your family is depending on it. You know what I mean? Now, if you want me to help you, I can help you. Be ready. Hard work will make you better. And if you want my help, I would love to help you. I would be thrilled to help you. Because I believe that I talk about money a lot. Because life is easier and more fun and more fulfilling if money is no longer your issue. So that's why I have that workshop in Vegas. And I have an invitation. We have a handful of tickets left. I would love for you to come spend 2 days with me. The difference between regular workshops and seminars and what we're going to do is this will be an implementation workshop, which means you and I will work on your business together. You will have the opportunity to ask questions, to actually implement this stuff, everything we talked about today and tons more. Will be our opportunity to put it in place. So by the time we're done on Friday night, you not only know what to do, but much of that will be already in place and moving forward. Because there are only two types of people. Those with the system that they're working and those that don't. And I want you to be the one with the system in place. You will know how to implement it. Some of it we'll implement together while you're there. And then what to do next. So you have the funnels. You have motivated lead funnels. You will know how to find them, where to look, how to approach them, how to use all channels, how to build trust, and go all the way to listing contracts. So you are not a salesperson anymore. You're not an agent. You're the solution. They have a problem, and you have the answer to that problem. It's a very different position I'm going to show you. We're going to talk about channels of mail, phone, and email sequences. How to do this right from the beginning. How to turn all the leads into appointments. And you're going to get tools to beat your competition. Now, when I say tools, we're going to incorporate video. We're going to incorporate phone, mail, email, every channel available. Where I'll walk you through it. Don't do this. Here's why. Do this instead. We're going to break it down into simple steps. The workshop is the lead machine. And this is a hands-on workshop where we'll literally get on the phone and you will have a chance to try these things. And that's why I keep it small. We open it for 73 agents. Most of the tickets are already gone. You saw what's left. That's why I do it, so that you can ask questions, we can interact, you can try different things. When you're standing in front of an expired listing and you're trying an expired script, that's a little too late. And it can be a costly lesson. So we're going to do it in a classroom where it's safe and it's perfectly all right to screw it up. 2 full days of nothing but working on 2016, your business. Building and implementing step-by-step systems. We're going to even do actual calls. If talking to prospects, if getting on the phone and having meaningful, connected conversations is a struggle for you, we're going to fix that. But that's something I cannot do with a video, I cannot do with a book, I cannot do with an email. We need to be in the room actually working on it. We'll primarily focus on 2 groups. FSBOs and expireds. That'll be a primary. But a lot of the stuff you're going to learn will be applicable to all kinds of leads because human psychology is human psychology. So on day 1, you will see where to get expireds, more than just, of course, we talked about today. I'm going to show you how to have no resistance conversations. What is the follow-up process? And how to handle actual conversations and role plays with these people. Cool stuff. And once you get the hang of it, you go, piece of cake. Day 2 will be FSBOs. Where to find them. How to have no pressure dialogues. What is the difference between an average agent and high status advisor? The difference is in positioning, and I'll show you how to do that. How to be the resource where you follow up with stuff that they actually want to get, they want to read, they want to implement. They see you as a resource. We'll do some live contacts. That's going to be fun. And of course, throughout the whole workshop, there'll be plenty of chances for you to ask different questions. So if that's something that you want to do, if you're ready to turn 2016 into a year where you're going to look back and say, made all the difference in the world. Best year I've ever had. Made the most money, helped the most people. I feel really good about my career as a real estate agent. Come join us. We'll be in Vegas January 21st and 22nd. And come on, it's Vegas. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll be at the Bally's Hotel. And you can sign up right now, goborino.com. Just heads up, we have only 9 tickets. Now, normally the price is $297. You have 2 more days to get a discount of $100. Saves you $100. It's only $197. That's all you got to invest. And of course, show up. Don't just passively listen, show up. And I mean, by show up, I mean actually show up. Declare this will be a good year. Declare, are you ready to turn it into the best year ever? And I want to help. And that's the entire huge sales pitch for the Vegas. For those of you who are coming, I can't wait to spend a couple of days with you. I love doing these. Unfortunately, time-wise, it's really hard for me to squeeze, because it's not just the 2 days we're going to spend together. We got to prepare. There's quite a bit of preparation, organization. So, and I know on your part, the travel and all that. So, but that's also the benefit. Because unlike on webinars and when you get videos or books or any other method, you know, the phone rings and then there is email, there's all kinds of distractions. Where if you and I lock ourselves in a room for 2 days, imagine the kind of stuff we can accomplish in such a focused, passion environment where you want to succeed and I want to help, and we're going to put it together. Where you can try things, you can ask questions. Yeah? That's the whole thing. Thank you for being here today. I appreciate it. Well, before we go, I almost forgot. Is there anything you wanted to talk about? Are there any questions? I almost forgot. Jesus. Here I am ready to celebrate New Year. But if you have questions, I'll take some phone calls. If you are on the phone, you guys that are already on the phone, all you have to do is hit *6. That will put you in a Q&A queue, and we can chat. All right, and we got a first question. Let's see. Here we go. Hi, it's Borino. Welcome. Who is this? 6. That will put you in a Q&A. Hold on. I get it. Queue. I need to turn this off. Hang on a second. And we can chat. Hang on a sec. Okay. Hey, who is this?
Hans, can you hear me?
Hans, how you doing, my man?
Good, man. You're my hero, Borino.
Are you enjoying the broadcast?
I am.
What's the biggest aha? What's the biggest takeaway so far that you've learned today?
My biggest aha, I procrastinate too much. I'm a perfectionist. I'm trying to do everything perfect, and I don't do anything.
Yeah.
Because I think it's overwhelming at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it can be. There is a time, Hans, when being a perfectionist pays off and it's necessary. There are times, like prepare for a listing presentation. Having a nice CMA, having a good presentation ready is very important. So there are times where it matters, but generating leads, doing things that we procrastinate often, not because the perfection is so necessary, but it's because we're dealing with discomfort. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So what are you going to do differently? Yeah. What are you going to implement?
What am I going to implement?
Yes. What are you going to implement right now? I'm going to help you get the procrastination out of the way, get the need for perfection out of the way. What do you plan to implement right away based on what you learned today?
I'm going to take action pretty much, start going out there and start like you say, do the best you can with what you got. So I'm just going to see what,
yeah, exactly.
Based on my role playing and all that. So.
Because you can come up with dozens of reasons why you need to do this first and do that first before you go out there. Here's what I encourage you to do, Hans. As we finish in a few minutes, go talk to just one expired listing or one for sale by owner or both. Just take your business card. You don't need anything else. It's nice to have the package. It's nice to have the things we talked about. But if you don't have them, the magic will still happen during the conversation. Just go out. What's the worst that can happen?
All right, yeah.
You're not going to be any worse off than you are already. Here's what will happen. You will start establishing a new habit. That's number one. You will also discover that many of these folks, FSBOs, expired sellers, are nice, decent people. They're people just like you and I. And if you approach them the right way, if you're just cool, if you're friendly, high status, I'm not talking about being a doormat, but be cool, be passionate, and be pleasant and willing to help. People are nice. They respond to it. That was one of the biggest revelations I had when I started working expired systematically. That most people are nice, most people are pretty friendly. Try it. Okay?
Okay. I will. Just another question.
Yeah.
How do you overcome rejection? Like you kept saying like you had a funny accent. People like they criticize you, like they think that you're not competent enough just because you haven't funny accent. I'm originally from Peru,
Okay.
and sometimes when I get nervous, I kind of like stutter a little bit, and they can also hear my accent. How do you overcome that?
That's a really good question. You should have heard my accent. Remember the movie Borat? Remember? Remember? That was me. That was me. I didn't have that G-string bathing suit, but other than that, the silly look, the crazy accent, that was me. So I know a thing or two about being rejected. I'll give you a couple of things on that. It's a really good question. And whether it's the accent or it is your age or it is 100 of other reasons why you believe you won't succeed, they all feel real. They may not be real, but they feel real. The fear of being rejected and being looked down upon and being turned down is real, and it's unpleasant, right?
Right.
So let me give you the specifics about the accent. I still have some accent, obviously, and at this point, I don't give a shit. It's kind of nice to sound a little different. People have to pay attention. But I know what you mean. So here's what I would recommend. Do you work with English-speaking customers other than...
I do, both. I do Spanish and English.
Okay.
But the things that I went to these listing presentations, like via listings appointments, and I got turned out because I think it was because of my accent. And they thought I wasn't competent enough.
Yes.
Because of that, so.
Let me ask you, do you feel competent? Are you a good agent?
I do. You know what? I'm not the top agent in the market. How do you call it? The high status agent.
Yes.
Because I go based just on the CMA. I presented everything as is, and I go based on that.
But here's the question.
But to be honest,
do you believe you are a really good agent who takes good care of their clients and knows how to get a house sold and how to get it closed?
I do.
You do.
I do.
That's the core importance. Yeah. That's the foundation. That is the core feeling. That's the core emotion you need to either develop or enhance, is how I feel as an expert. And if there's a part of you, and we'll talk about the language in just a moment, but if, as far as being an expert, if there is a gap, you don't know the market well enough, or you don't know how to present, or whatever, you got to patch that, you got to fix that. And all of that is fixable and learnable. The cool thing about success in real estate, unlike being a professional basketball star or football player or many other professions, you don't need to have a certain set of attributes. You don't need to be 7'2". You know what I mean? So the information that you need to possess and the qualities and skills are all trainable. I am the living proof. If Borat from Czechoslovakia learned this shit, trust me, Hans, you can too, and everybody else, you guys watching this. So with that being said...
That's why I relate myself with you.
Yeah.
Story and
now,
everything.
Language is a big part of it. How you communicate is a big part. Verbal and nonverbal communication. So if the language itself is an obstacle, and it can be, I can tell you one thing, I guarantee you I lost thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars because I was a foreigner. Just like I guarantee you right now, there are agents who would not buy my product or come to my workshop because I am not an American. I have an accent, and I'm okay with that. It's fine. Here is why. There will always be some people who don't like something about you, and there is nothing you can do about it. Whether it's you're a man, you're a woman, you're Hispanic, you're white, you're black, you're this, they will have dozens of reasons why they will not do business with you. Some you can fix, some you cannot do absolutely nothing about. There will be a small group, but here's the cool thing. If you set up the lead systems we talked about, if you follow what I teach you, if you come to the workshop or if you use my system or not, doesn't matter. But if you have pipeline full of good leads, if somebody is an idiot, if somebody is a jerk, if somebody decides that just because you're from Peru, I'm not going to give you the listing, all you can do is, you know what, thank you for the opportunity, fuck off. I don't care. It doesn't matter that much. Because if you have 15, 20, 30, 40 other really good leads and line up appointments and line up listings, one idiot cannot ruin it for you. Do you understand what I'm saying? But if you have one listing appointment a month, then you're going to hold on to it, and if you don't get it, it's going to crush you. So be okay with the fact that your age, your size, your height, your skin color, or a million other things, people will sometimes use, and you cannot there is no way to fix that. It's just a human nature. There are times where you can fix it if your expertise is a question. You can address that. That's a very different issue. But do you understand the difference, Hans? Do you understand what I'm saying?
I do.
So
I
now,
get it.
if you have the core foundation, I trust myself, I know I'm a high status agent, I know how to get the job done, then you can work on the mechanics. And one thing I would suggest if you work with English-speaking audience, English-speaking clientele, is improve your communication. That's what I did. One of the fastest ways, sign up for Toastmasters. Take some classes, take some courses, work on it. That's what I had, a notepad full of words I didn't understand. I would learn how to pronounce them. I would have one of those little recorders, kind of like this one. Let me show you.
Yeah, I have one too.
Yeah, and just record yourself and work on it. Now, it won't happen overnight. It will never be perfect. Doesn't need to be. Okay? But the mechanics, you can get down. So for all of you guys, whether you are a native English speakers or not, doesn't matter. Your speech is one of the most important ways of communication. How you come across. Because you want to be perceived as confident, high status, helpful, in control, somebody who I feel comfortable communicating with. You know what I mean? So you can work on it. Take some classes, practice this. And be okay with some who will not do business with you no matter what. Whether it's your language or a bunch of other stuff. But there's one more thing I'm going to add to this, Hans. Especially for those of you guys who work in bilingual market, having an agent who speaks both languages is actually a huge advantage. And I'm speaking from experience. I was at the disadvantage because a lot of my market where I worked in Southern California were Spanish speaking. And they didn't feel comfortable dealing with an Anglo like me. And I lost business because of that.
Norway too.
Yes, you know.
I think you used to work with, I don't know if you know him, I used to work with Israel. Israel is the one that recommended me.
Oh, yeah. He's one of my good clients and a good friends. Yeah, you're in down in California then, or somewhere in Southern California. So you see the market there, it was the opposite. So use it to your advantage and tell the seller, look, I know I have a silly accent. Admit it, nothing wrong with that. I did. I would make fun of myself. You know, I wouldn't hide or pretend or don't feel bad about it. It is what it is. But I would also say, look, it's an advantage because a big chunk of our clientele is Spanish speaking. So now you have 2 for 1. What a good deal. You know what I mean?
Right.
But this issue is more important how you feel about it than what it really is, if that makes sense. Yeah?
It does, yeah.
All right. Anything else?
Thank you. Yeah, one more question if you don't mind.
Sure.
Yeah, on the, how do you pretty much like, do you have like a specific business setup for the, for an assistant? Like how to delegate paperwork to an assistant? Like in other words, like how do I know what to give my assistant?
Oh, okay.
So I can say basically like generating.
I'll tell you a very simple system I used when I hired my first assistant. I like to keep things simple. Cheap and simple is something that I really like. So here's what I would recommend, Hans. Here's what you do, and everybody else. Once you bring an assistant on board, even if it's just for an hour or 2 a day, do it. Do it. It's going to make a huge difference. But here's what I did. I would take my calendar, and I would write down every single activity I do. From prospecting to follow-up to presentation, all that. And I would break it down into tasks. And I would keep track. This is what I do. And I would have a big list, notepad with all the activities that were required to do. Some productive, some not so much. But everything that needed to be done, I wrote down. Then you're going to, well, as a matter of fact, you know what? Let me show you. I know you're on the phone, Hans, but I will do this here on the board. How to do it. Because that's a really good question that will help you guys. So you won't overthink it, where it's going to be super hard and super lengthy to train your assistant. So you're going to make a list. So you're going to have, let me go with this one. All right. So this is how you do it. So make a laundry list. 1, 2, 3, 4. There'll be dozens and dozens of things here. So probably 20, 30 important tasks that you do throughout the day to keep your business running. Okay? Then you go,
Okay.
You're going to draw 2 columns there. One next to each activity that directly generates revenue, you're going to put a $sign. So let's say calling new expired listings at 8 a.m. in the morning is obviously a $sign activity. Following up with existing seller leads is a $1 activity. Making copies of the flyers is not a $1 activity. Needs to be done, just doesn't produce dollars. So now some will have $signs, some will not. You're going to go through the list. Okay? In the second column, you're going to put a happy face, smiley face, next to everything you really enjoy doing. Whether it's productive or not doesn't matter. You just like doing it. It's something I like to edit videos. It makes me feel creative. I feel a little bit like Steven Spielberg. I know, a stretch for most of my videos, I'll give you that. But I just like doing it. It's not productive for me. It's just something I like doing. So go down the list and just put a happy face next to every activity that you really like doing. Now, those that produce dollars are yours to keep. Because nobody can talk to customers the way you do, nobody presents the way you do, nobody negotiates contracts the way you do. That's where your company, Hans Incorporated, Jim Incorporated, Susan Incorporated, creates money. So you're going to keep those. These distinguish. Do I really want to keep doing it? Is it a really good investment of my time? Sometimes the answer is yes. Sometimes you cross it out. Every activity that is not a dollar sign or a happy face sign will now become a job description of your assistant. And there'll be probably 10, 15 different tasks that need to be done for a company to operate on profit. Okay? So now this is going to be assistant's job, assistant's job, assistant's job, assistant's job, assistant's job. Okay? Then the last step is you look at the list of all the things that are now being delegated to your assistant and ask yourself this. Which one of these is the most important in order for my company to prosper and critical to be delegated? And then order them in the order of importance. Which ones are the essential? Start with those. Okay? So now you have a list and now you have it ordered. Then you're going to take task number 1 and you're going to sit down with your assistant and you tell your assistant, okay, Jane, in order for us to process a new listing and put it in the MLS, here are the steps. First step, you log into the MLS, you write it down. Second step, third step, fourth step, and you build a checklist together. And the cool thing about the checklist is, number 1, Susan will not be overwhelmed or stressed out over her new job because everything will be checklisted. Reason number 2, this is cool, is you will not be stressed out over your new assistant because you know now your assistant is following a checklist, so it's getting done right. And reason number 3, this is really good, is because you will review every process before you hand it off and evaluate, well, isn't there a better way to do that? Is this really the best way to get this done? Or your assistant may have a better way. Now you're going to have a checklist for each one of these activities. You have a little binder. You could do this electronically, maybe on Google Docs or on Dropbox, but you also have it print out. If your internet goes down, the computers go down, or your assistant is out in the field, everything is checklisted now. That's what he or she needs to do for you. That's the entire process. Here's another benefit to this. Your assistant will not stay with you for too long. If they do, bonus, but it's a transitory position. So don't kid yourself, it is not the best job out there. You don't want somebody who's ambitious, you want somebody who's nice. But the cool thing is, as the new assistant comes, the old one goes. The new assistant comes in, 80% of your training is already done. Because you have checklists for everything you do. You simply walk them through it, it's done. They know how to do it. They don't need to memorize all of that. They need to understand the core of these activities. But beyond that, not that hard. Just follow the checklist. That's how I did it. It works the best. A lot of my customers, a lot of my clients, a lot of you guys, my students, follow the same process of training your assistant, get him up to speed quickly. Make sense?
Yes.
All right, my man. Are you coming to Vegas, Mr. Hans?
Yeah, I am. I'm actually over here from Vegas.
Cool. I look forward to meeting you in person. That's going to be fun.
Yes.
If you come a day early,
to
I'm going to send everybody an email. But we're going to hang out and have a couple of drinks and talk. Make sure you join us, okay?
Sure.
All right. Good deal. Thanks. We'll see you in Vegas next month. Thanks,
forward
hon. Happy New Year, man.
Happy New Year to you, Borino.
Thank you. All right. This is Borino. Who is this? Hello, hello. Hello? Hi, this is Borino. Sometimes there is a delay because we are on a live feed on the phone, but the video broadcast is slightly delayed. Hello, it's Borino. Can you hear me? I guess not. All right, you guys, if you have any more questions, if there's anything you wanted to ask, if there's something that's not clear that we covered today, or maybe didn't cover, but you have a burning desire to ask, the number is 641-715-3605. The code is 143153 £, and to raise your hand and ask question is *6. All right. Hello, who is this?
Oh, this is Pat. This is Borino?
Yes, who is this?
Okay, good. Pat Adams.
Pat Adams, my man, how you doing? Straight from Las Vegas, real estate rockstar.
Yes. So this was all review. I remember, I probably listened to 100 of your audios and videos in the early days. But it was a great review, great recap for me.
Outstanding. Are you going to do it? Are you going to implement it, Pat?
Absolutely. Vegas is way more brutal than North Carolina for expires and FSBOs. I've been kind of shying away from it, but I need some now business, so I'm absolutely going to go after it.
When you say brutal, you mean a lot more agents are going after them?
Oh, probably 10 times more.
How many do you think, what would be your best guess? Like if there's a good expired, how many agents do you think have a system and go after that expired? I'm not talking agents who are just desperate and pull
They're
it.
talking about 50 phone calls. Most of them say 50 phone calls.
50 phone calls in a matter of like 24 hours?
Pretty much. Maybe in a couple of days, 3 days.
That's pretty. That's
it's
competitive.
brutal.
Yeah. So who gets the
They're
listing
upset,
at the end?
They're angry.
Of course.
But they are listing.
Well, that's the thing. Somebody's going to get the listing at the end. Who do you think it usually is? How does that work?
It's the one that follows up the most, the one that gets in front of them, the ones that builds trust. That's why I needed your review today.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think
because I've been, what I've been doing is just not following up enough and sticking to them and those types of things.
Yeah. If you guys are in a competitive market like Pat, he's in Las Vegas, and there are some markets, like in my area, there were at least 10, 12 really good agents systematically going after expireds. Now, the problem I had is some of them would show up. I had a dude, 24-year-old, no joke, would show up in a Lamborghini, yellow Lamborghini. His name was Lorenzo. He was a Century 21 somewhere in East Los Angeles. How do you fucking compete with that? Where I had a Honda Civic, you know what I mean? This dude pulls up in a Lambo, for crying out loud, decked up in a beautiful suit. Some would show up beautiful advertising, Homes and Land magazine, color spread and all that. I couldn't compete with that. But Pat said something, you were right on, Pat, is it's going to come down to trust. The Lambo gets attention. Some of these things work as far as getting attention, but it's not the reason why somebody would list with someone. It's going to come down to who they feel comfortable with, who do they like, who do they trust, who do they respect. And if you are in a... Yeah, go ahead.
What I'm doing different is I got to rebuild my expired package and make it better, more thorough.
Okay.
Number 2 is Group A, basically just following that sucker.
Yep.
I think that will differentiate me, and I'm sure, because back in the early days, I definitely got a lot of expired listings from hitting them with mail, from just the basics, just doing what you said, really.
Do it all.
So I need to do it again.
Mm-hmm. Do it all. Call them if you can.
And I'm confident. Today I went to the door and I got one. This morning before you started, I went to about 5 doors and got one ready to list, Spanish speaking. So I got my Spanish speaking partner who's going to do it with me.
Outstanding. So you visited
so
5 expireds today, Pat?
That's one day. An hour knocking on doors. So
how many expireds did you hit?
What's that?
How many expireds did you hit?
This morning, I think I went to 5.
5 expired. So out of those 5, 1 is a solid lead. What about the other 4?
I only talked to 2 people.
Okay.
I talked to 4. Actually, I went to 4.
You went to 4. Okay. That's not bad. Out of 4,
but
1...
I only talked to 1 qualified person. One was the daughters who were very upset that everybody was calling their mom.
Now, let me ask you this. People get a lot of phone calls.
They were upset for their mom.
And, it's understandable. I mean, I'd be pissed off if people were bugging me like that. That's understandable. But that should not stop you from trying to help them. How many agents went to that door that you know of?
None that I know of.
0. So that alone
They had an interview yesterday. But they're waiting for their daughter to come to sit in on the interview.
I see. Okay. So now you know that you can even skip the phone calls if you're confident that they have not relisted, and just go there in person. Because imagine if you could do consistently 2, 3, maybe 4 conversations a day. How many leads, solid leads, do you think that would generate in, let's say, a week?
Well, 5 a day is my minimum.
Okay.
And I'm just going to keep going. I like the idea of taking 50 and 50 and focusing on 50. keep going after those 50.
Yeah. If you split them, because some may not be worth going there in person, but that doesn't mean it's not a good potential lead. Or you can visit them later. That's also another alternative, is you mail them first, you hit them first, and then you visit them. That's also a possibility. As long as you just keep going, that's really the secret.
My question is pretty simple. The market report. So I'm looking at about 5 zip codes.
Yeah.
The nice thing about Vegas compared to North Carolina is our geographically, I can hit a lot more houses a lot faster. A lot more. So I'm looking at 5 zip codes. The question is the market report, how, I want to keep it simple, but I also want it to be relevant. Do you have any thoughts on what data would be on there?
I would not narrow it down too much, Pat. Think about the production time it takes to put these things together. So if you keep it generic, I would keep it very generic. If the report is long, that's okay. Because as long as it makes sense how it's organized, I can look through it and go, oh, this is not my zip code. Let me flip through it. Here is my zip code.
Yeah, so I'm thinking like just put a box in my territory that I'm working and just, it might be 2 pages.
Perfect. It can be even more.
But I'm also thinking about zip code, 1 per zip code.
That might be too laborious to start segmenting it that way.
Right.
Here's what I would do, Pat. On the cover of it, I would print a Google map of the area that's covered so that when I get it,
perfect,
I may visually see, oh, this covers my home as well. Let me flip through it. My brain will figure out how it's organized by zip code or name of the street or whatever until I find something that I will find interesting and relevant. Make sense?
I like it. Yeah.
All right. Good deal. All right, man. And I know you're coming to Vegas, right?
I'll be here.
There you are.
Looking forward to it.
Awesome. Me too. Cool. Good question.
Thanks,
hey,
Borino.
Happy New Year, Pat. Good talking with you as always.
Same to you.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. That was my man, Pat, who he actually was in D.C. not long ago in my workshop. All right, my friends. Looks like we answered all your questions. I appreciate you being here today. And here's the info for the last time. The last few tickets will be gone. GoBorino.com. Come and sign up. We have a 1-year warranty on it. That's kind of a crazy thing to have decided to do. Is you have 1 year to put it to the test because I do believe it's going to work for you, but I want to make sure. So we have a 365-day guarantee that either you will get the results you're after or we'll refund your entire tuition. All right? I want to help. I want to make sure next year is really good for you, that you make the money you want to make, that you help the people, and you feel good because this business can be rewarding. It can be a bitch at times, I know. But underneath it all, this can be a profitable, enjoyable business with tons of freedom, tons of chances to work with cool people. Yes, it requires work, and yes, there is rejection, and there's all that shit, but you're going to get that one way or another. And you don't want to sit in some cubicle work for some idiot for the rest of your life. You want to have the freedom, you want to have the lifestyle on your terms, with the level of income that you always dreamed about and deserved. So let me help you. Come to Las Vegas, join us for the seminar, and let's have an awesome, profitable, incredible 2016. Yo, Coach Borino, thanks very much for being here today. I hope this information was helpful. More importantly, I hope you will put it to work. Use it right now. Go out there, do what we talked about today. Make it work. It's out there. There's business out there. There are leads out there. There are people who need your help and who will pay you for your service. Have a terrific rest of the week. I wish you all a very happy, very prosperous, awesome 2016. Thanks very much. Coach Borino signing off. Let's go get him. Bye, everybody. I'll talk to you real soon. Looking forward to working with you in 2016. Take care.